Hi, Connie. How you doing? Good to see you, Donna. Karen, good to see you. Glad you're all here. I think we got about the right time, huh? Ready, everybody?
Yeah.
Now let's see what happens here. Thanks, guys. Hello, everybody. I hope that you're doing great on this Thursday night. Hi, Linda. Good to see you this evening. So you're going to notice that we are one member down. Over here, let me see, we're off camera. Normally that's Joe, but he's not able to be here tonight. He had some other things come up. And for those of you who don't know, Thursday Night Live is always intended to be kind of really laid back and low key. We get together maybe about 5:15, 5:20. We practice these songs for about 15 minutes, and then we just kind of go for it. So we miss Joe, so that was a song for him. Hey, Joe, Jimi Hendrix. And I hope you're doing great tonight, Joe. I hope you're watching this. Hope you're feeling all right. So tonight we're going to have some tunes by Rory Gallagher. We're going to have some tunes by Neil Young, some Benny King. We're going to be in Mathew chapter 18. for a little bit, lots of great stuff. I'm sure glad you're here this evening. Sit back, just take an opportunity to enjoy a little rest and a little break and see what we come up with. I'm going to try singing for a change. It's going to be ugly, but you can turn your volume down on that thing. What do you think, y'all? No. All right. This is a song by a guy named Rory Gallagher. He's an Irish guitar player. He had the first famous Stratocaster in Ireland. It's called Bad Penny. Hey, what do? You know? You go with what you got to. Now, Scott gets to spend the rest of the night trying to figure out that microphone. Cheryl, I'm sure glad you're here tonight. Nicole, good to see you. So, if it's all right with you, I wanted to share a story of something that happened actually yesterday. It kind of changed my ideas about what I wanted to talk about tonight. What happened was, now my daughter is 5 years old, and we live in an awesome neighborhood where there's lots of girls about her age, but she's definitely the youngest, right? So anyway, yesterday, some of the girls that were in the neighborhood, they came over and they invited my daughter to go outside and sled with them, which is awesome. So thankful for that. Got her all loaded up, got all the clothes on her and everything like that. Now I understood though that as a 5-year-old with kids a little bit older, she probably wasn't going to last quite as long, right? So we go outside. We're sledding, I'm kind of building ramps and stuff, and as they're kind of moving around, I can tell that my daughter's getting a little bit tired. And that pretty quick, there's maybe going to be some whining and maybe some crying. You know that those things are coming from a little kid. And sure enough, it happened. And as it happened, it's just kind of, a lot of things just kind of fell apart. You know how that happens with kids. Nobody did anything wrong. Everybody was just fine. But kids were cold, and we were tired, and so lots of tears. And my daughters were the loudest. And so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to bring her inside. She's probably a little bit too young to keep up with the older kids for very long. So I brought her inside and kind of warmed her up. And I saw as the other kind of kids kept playing. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, man, I wish Claire could go out and play with them again. But, she's just too tired, and they probably don't want her around if she's going to whine and cry too much. Again, nobody's doing anything wrong. Everybody's being just fine. But the fact of the matter is that, once a little kid starts crying, maybe some older kids don't want him around. I don't know. I'm just guessing. So I'm watching as these girls are outside playing in the backyard, and they've gone out to find other things that they're doing. And I'm looking over at my daughter, and I'm kind of wishing that everything would kind of work out. Too bad she can't go out and play, but that's just the way that it goes. It's just the way it goes. It's kids, right? So I'd kind of relegated myself to realizing that Claire's probably not going to be able to keep up with these older kids. And, sometimes she just might not be able to play with them. And here's what happened. Out of nowhere, even though she had kind of been crying a little bit, and again, nothing wrong, she'd been crying a little bit and had been a little bit whiny around them. At one point, someone comes and knocks on the door. Knock, 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 knock. And I open the door, and it's one of the neighbor girls. And she said, I just wanted you to know, Claire, that we're outside and we're making snow volcanoes. Would you like to come and play with us? And I'm going to tell you, I needed to see that. I needed to experience that kind of overwhelming sort of graciousness and generosity and hospitality. I kind of couldn't believe it because, again, with these older kids, I had already brought Claire in, and it would have been perfectly understandable if they'd have just kind of gone on with their day. They had played with her. They were nice to her. But do they really want to include her again, knowing that there might be a little drama involved? And the answer was yes. They invited her back in, or back out, literally, right? But back into their group. And they made room for her, and, they didn't judge her for the fact that maybe she couldn't keep up, or that maybe she was going to get cold faster than they did, and that she was not going to have as much energy, and that maybe she'd even start crying. It didn't matter to them. They just welcomed her back. And like I said, I kind of needed that, because I needed that sense right now in my life that people are good. Because I do believe that people are good, but looking around me sometimes, I'm not so certain about that with all the things that are happening in our world right now. All the things I'm listening to on the news that are kind of amping me up. I kind of had this idea, this feeling, well, I don't want to say hopelessness, but in a way I was just kind of getting tired of the way that people treat each other. And then I got to watch these kids treat my daughter with so much love and so much kindness and so much generosity. And it just made my heart swell. And it made me feel good about the world again. Does that make any sense? I needed to see that. I needed to watch it. And it got me thinking about what I might say tonight. Because as I realized this, Jesus never teaches children in the New Testament. And I know that at this point you're saying, well, wait a minute. Yeah, he did. He talked to kids. He talked about kids. Yes, he did. But he never taught them. And here's another thing that's really interesting. Jesus never commands his disciples to teach children. Instead, what Jesus does is he tells his disciples, you need to be more like the children. See, Jesus doesn't teach kids, and Jesus doesn't tell others to teach children. What he tells others, and maybe even by extension what he tells us, is that if we are to see glimpses of the kingdom of God in our life, maybe we need to become more like children. Maybe we need to be more like those kids in my neighborhood who, quite frankly, were easily able to look past the kind of frustrations of having a little 5-year-old around, who were willing to maybe even bear the burden of the fact that maybe she's going to get cold faster and she's not going to be able to keep up and all those things, but they were totally willing to do it. And what I saw in those kids was what I know I could see in our society and our lives. There's no reason that the world can't look more like our backyard looked yesterday. And so it got me to thinking about a text I want to share with you now. It's from the Gospel of St. Matthew, the 18th chapter. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? He called a child whom he put among them. And he said, truly I tell you, unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever becomes humble like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me.
Was he thinking about my country or the color of my skin? Was he thinking about my religion and the way I worshiped him? Did he create just me in his image, or every living thing? When God made me, when God made me, was he planning only for believers, or for those who just have faith? Did he envision all the wars that were fought in his name? Did he say there was only one way to be close to him? When God made me, when God made me. Did he give me the gift of voice so some could silence me? Did he give me the gift of vision, not knowing what I might see? Did he give me the gift of compassion to help my fellow man? When God made me, when God made me, when God made me,
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Cody. We really appreciate that. As we continue our service, if it's all right with you, I just wanted to take a moment just kind of for a couple announcements. These services have been fantastic, and they have been watched by tons and tons of people. We really appreciate that. And we hope that if you're a person that's joining us, especially from outside of our congregation, that you're enjoying our time together tonight. For those of you who are connected to the congregation, if you wouldn't mind, it's always really helpful to like this and share it and, like the page on Facebook and all of those things. Leaving comments that kind of helps train Facebook just to get people onto our site so they can see the things that we have to offer. You don't have to do that, but just kind of letting you know it's somewhat helpful. Also, if I could, I wanted to just draw your attention to a few quick announcements in the life of the church. We have managed in a very short period of time to fill all of the 100 reservations for the meal program that we have, the monthly meal program that we have here at the church. We decided this month that what we would do is use the funds that we still had left over from the derecho feeding program to provide hot meals to folks in the Cedar Rapids community. We decided to just kind of go for it. And see if we partnered with Dostal Catering and see if we could feed 100 people. We wondered. Kind of a hot, tall order. I tell you what, we got 100 reservations so fast that next month what we're going to try for is 150. So if you'd like to contribute to that, you can contact the church office. If you're a member, you know how to do that. And if you're a guest or visitor, just thanks for being here. But if you're a church member and you'd like to contribute to next month's feeding program, we'd love to have you do that. We're going to go for 150. Thank you to Dostal Catering. This month we are going to have its chicken and its hot potatoes, just all kinds of great stuff for the folks in our community. Thank you to everybody who's participating. So Sunday, if you have a reservation between 4 and 5, you can come through and pick up the meals. Love to have you do that. Also wanted to let you know that this Sunday is my Sunday to be at Marion, at the church in Marion. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put together a service with Marcy on the organ and maybe some reflections and some scripture readings. And then if you'd like to watch the live stream from the church in Marion, we'll have that on our Facebook page too. So all kinds of great stuff going on. I'm sure glad that you're here. If you have a request, 2 of the songs that we're playing tonight are requests. So if you have a request for music you'd like us to do next Thursday and the Thursdays to come, go ahead and leave a comment now. We'd sure appreciate it. It's good to see you, Castners. I'm glad you're here. All right, we got one more tune for you. I bet you know this one. face shine on you, be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. So go now in peace, serve the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Good night, everybody. We love you. Hope you have a great evening. You certainly deserve it. Peace.